Did you intend for me to see this?
Oh God, I am so sorry. That was meant for my ex.
Natalie Foster stared at the ceiling of her apartment, unable to sleep for the third night in a row. Something felt wrong. For years with Ryan, Mitchell had taught her to trust her instincts. And right now, those instincts were screaming that something had changed. She rolled over to look at Ryan sleeping peacefully beside her. His phone clutched in his hand even in sleep. The device buzzed softly, lighting up the dark room. Natalie watched as notification after notification appeared on the lock screen, all from someone named Caroline. The preview of the latest message made her stomach drop. "Can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Last night was incredible." Her hands trembled as she carefully lifted the phone from Ryan's grip. He stirred, but didn't wake. The password was their anniversary date, which somehow made what she was about to discover even more devastating. She unlocked the screen and opened the messages. The truth unfolded before her eyes in a series of intimate texts, photos, and promises that belonged in her relationship. It's not with some stranger named Caroline. The messages went back 5 months. 5 months of lies, while Ryan kissed her goodbye every morning, told her he loved her every night, and planned their future together. Natalie felt like she couldn't breathe. Her vision blurred with tears as she scrolled through evidence of his double life. There were hotel receipts, dinner reservations at their favorite restaurant, even photos of Caroline wearing a necklace identical to one Ryan had given. It's Natalie for her birthday. She must have made a sound because Ryan's eyes flew open. For a moment, he looked confused. Then he saw his phone in her hands, saw her tear-stained face, and understanding dawned with horrifying clarity. "Natalie, wait," he started, sitting up quickly. "This isn't what it looks like, really, Ryan." Her voice came out surprisingly steady, despite the storm raging inside her. "Because it looks like you've been sleeping with Caroline for 5 months while living with me. It looks like you took her to Milano's, our special place for her birthday. It looks like you're a liar and a cheater." Ryan reached for her, but Natalie stood up, putting distance between them. "She doesn't mean anything. It was just physical. You're the one I love. Get out." The words felt like shards of glass in her throat. "Baby, please. We can work through this. Couples therapy, whatever you need. Just don't throw away for years. You already threw them away." Natalie grabbed his jacket and shoes, throwing them at him. "Get out of my apartment. Right now." The desperation in his eyes almost broke her resolve. But then she remembered Caroline's messages, remembered the lies. Remembered every moment of the past 5 months when she'd trusted him completely while he betrayed her repeatedly. "Natalie, please, if you're not gone in 2 minutes, I'm calling the police and telling them there's an intruder in my home." Something in her tone must have convinced him because Ryan gathered his things and left, still trying to apologize as she shut the door in his face. The moment the lock clicked, Natalie collapsed against the wall and let herself break apart. She called Jessica first, her voice barely a whisper. "He cheated on me. For 5 months, I'm on my way." Calling Amber now? 20 minutes later, her 2 best friends burst through the door armed with tissues, chocolate, and enough determination to wage war on Ryan's behalf. Jessica, a fierce lawyer with no patience for cheaters, paced the living room like a caged tiger. Amber, sweet but deadly when protecting her friends, sat beside Natalie on the floor, holding her while she cried. For years, Natalie sobbed. "I gave him 4 years of my life. I turned down a job opportunity in Paris because he said he couldn't do long distance. I introduced him to my family. I trusted him completely. He's garbage," Jessica declared. "Absolute human garbage. You deserve so much better." The next 3 days passed in a fog. Natalie called in sick to work, something she never did. Her phone exploded with calls and texts from Ryan, each message more desperate than the last. She blocked his number after he sent the 15th text, begging for another chance. On Saturday morning, Jessica and Amber showed up with a plan. "Absolutely not," Natalie protested when they explained their scheme. "I'm not sending Ryan some revenge photo. That's immature." "Immature would be keying his car," Amber countered, already unpacking makeup and curling irons. "This is empowerment. This is showing him exactly what he lost. This is you taking back your power, Come on, Nat, Jessica added. When was the last time you did something bold? Something just for yourself? Maybe it was the heartbreak talking. Maybe it was the wine Jessica had brought. Or maybe it was the way her friends believed she was worth fighting for when she felt completely worthless. Whatever the reason, Natalie found herself agreeing. 2 hours later, she barely recognized her reflection. The emerald dress Amber had brought hugged her curves perfectly. Jessica had worked magic with makeup, making her eyes look mysterious and alluring. For the first time since finding those messages, Natalie felt something other than pain. She felt powerful. They took dozens of photos. Some playful, some serious, some absolutely stunning. The final shot captured Natalie looking directly at the camera, confidence radiating from every angle. One hand on her hip, the dress highlighting her figure, her expression, a perfect blend of strength and grace. That's the one, Amber breathed. Send it. Natalie opened her messages, found Ryan's contact, and typed, "This is what you lost. I hope Caroline was worth it." Her finger hovered over the send button for just a heartbeat before she pressed it. The message showed delivered, then read almost immediately. Satisfaction bloomed in her chest. Then her eyes focused on the name at the top of the screen. And her heart stopped completely. The contact wasn't Ryan Mitchell. It was Sebastian Hunt, CEO. No, Natalie whispered, her hands shaking so violently the phone nearly slipped from her grasp. Blood drained from her face as the reality of what she had just done crashed over her like a tidal wave. What's wrong? Jessica rushed over, concern etched across her features. Nat, you look like you're about to pass out. I sent it to the wrong person. Natalie's voice came out as barely a whisper. I sent it to Sebastian Hunt. Amber's eyes went wide. Your CEO? The Sebastian Hunt who owns half the commercial real estate in the city? The billionaire who makes grown men nervous just by walking into a room? The 2 blue check marks appeared beneath the message. Sebastian Hunt had seen the photo. Sebastian Hunt had read her message about what Ryan lost. Natalie felt the room spinning. I'm going to be sick. I'm going to lose my job. My career is over. Her phone buzzed in her trembling hands. A response from Sebastian. Jessica grabbed the phone before Natalie could drop it. Her eyes scanned the message, and her expression shifted from concern to complete shock. Natalie, you need to read this. With shaking hands, Natalie took the phone back. That's quite a photograph, Natalie, and quite a message. I'm assuming there's a story here. Before she could process those words, another message appeared. For what it's worth, whoever lost you made the biggest mistake of his life. Are you available for dinner tomorrow evening? I'd like to hear this story. If you're comfortable with that, of course. Natalie read the messages 3 times, certain she was hallucinating. He wants to take me to dinner. Sebastian Hunt just asked me to dinner. Oh my God. Amber grabbed the phone to see for herself. He's flirting with you. Your billionaire CEO is actually flirting with you. This can't be happening. Natalie buried her face in her hands. I sent an inappropriate photo to the most powerful man in the company. I should be getting fired, not invited to dinner. Maybe, Jessica said slowly. A smile spreading across her face. This accidental message is the best thing that could have happened to you. Natalie spent all of Sunday in a state of controlled panic. She had responded to Sebastian's invitation with a simple yes, thank you. 7 o'clock works for me because what else could she do? Refusing might make Monday morning unbearably awkward. At least dinner gave her a chance to explain, apologize, and hopefully save her career. When 7 o'clock arrived, Natalie was dressed in a simple but elegant navy dress, her hair styled in soft waves. She'd changed outfits 4 times, consulted with Jessica and Amber via video call twice, and was currently fighting the urge to cancel everything and move to another country. The sleek black car that pulled up to her building looked like it cost more than she made in 5 years. When Sebastian stepped out to open her door personally, Natalie had to remind herself to breathe. She had seen Sebastian Hunt dozens of times at work. He was always impeccably dressed in custom suits, always commanding every room he entered, always seeming somehow untouchable. But tonight, he wore charcoal slacks and a fitted black sweater that made him look younger, more approachable, and dangerously handsome. You look beautiful, he said, his dark eyes warm as they met hers. There was no hint of the intimidating CEO she knew from boardroom meetings.
Thank you.
You look very nice, too. Natalie mentally kicked herself for the awkward response. But Sebastian just smiled. The restaurant he chose was the kind of place Natalie had only read about in magazines. Intimate lighting, private booths, and the sort of discretion that allowed the wealthy and famous to dine without interruption. They were seated in a corner booth that felt like their own private world. After they ordered wine, Sebastian leaned back slightly, his expression gentle. So tell me about yesterday's photo. Natalie felt heat rush to her cheeks. I am so incredibly sorry about that. It was meant for someone completely different, and I'm mortified that you received it. Don't be mortified. I'm certainly not complaining. His smile was disarming. But I'm curious about the story behind it. The wine arrived, and Natalie took a fortifying sip before launching into the explanation. My boyfriend, well, ex-boyfriend now, I discovered he'd been having an affair for 5 months. My friends thought sending him a photo would help me feel empowered, show him what he lost. She paused, embarrassed. Obviously, I sent it to the wrong contact. I'm so sorry, Mr. Hunt. Sebastian, please. We're not at the office. He leaned forward, his expression serious. And I'm not going to fire you, Natalie. What you do in your personal time is your business. Besides, you're one of the most talented marketing consultants we have. The Riverside campaign you led increased our client engagement by 40%. You know about that? Natalie was surprised he even knew her name, let alone her specific projects. I make it my business to know about exceptional employees. Sebastian paused, seeming to choose his words carefully. I'm going to be honest with you, Natalie. I've noticed you for a while now. The way your entire face lights up when you crack a difficult marketing problem. How you always ask the questions no one else thinks to ask in strategy meetings. Your laugh when you think no one important is paying attention. Natalie's heart hammered against her ribs. You've noticed me? How could I not? His voice was soft, genuine. But you were in a relationship, so I kept my professional distance. When I received that photo yesterday, along with that message, I thought perhaps fate was offering me an opportunity I never expected to have. They talked for hours. Sebastian told her about his own past. It's about a fiancé who had cheated on him with his former business partner 3 years ago. The betrayal had nearly destroyed him, made him withdraw into his work. Build walls around his heart that few people ever saw beyond. I understand exactly what you're feeling, he said, his eyes holding hers across the candlelit table. That sense that you weren't enough, questioning everything about yourself and the relationship. But I can tell you with absolute certainty that your ex-boyfriend is a complete fool. Your ex-fiancé was a fool too, Natalie replied softly, as the evening progressed. Natalie found herself relaxing in a way she hadn't expected. Sebastian was funny, telling self-deprecating stories about corporate mishaps that had her laughing until tears formed in her eyes. He was thoughtful, asking about her dreams, and actually listening to her answers. He was nothing like the cold, untouchable CEO persona he maintained at work. They discovered unexpected common ground. Both loved classic films, but hated romantic comedies. Both preferred quiet evenings to loud parties. Both had complicated relationships with their families. Both had been betrayed by people they'd trusted completely. Can I confess something? Sebastian asked as they shared a chocolate dessert. I was terrified you'd say no to dinner. I almost didn't send that message because I thought you'd think I was being inappropriate. I was terrified you were going to fire me, Natalie admitted. I almost didn't come because I thought this was some elaborate way of letting me down easy before Monday morning. Never, Sebastian said firmly. You're far too valuable to lose over an accidental text message. Even if the photo was incredibly distracting during my afternoon meetings, Natalie felt herself blushing again, but this time it felt different. Less embarrassed, more alive. When Sebastian drove her home, the car felt smaller somehow, the air between them charged with possibility. He walked her to her door, and they stood there under the dim hallway light, neither wanting the evening to end. I'd really like to see you again, Sebastian said, his voice quiet. If you're interested, that is. I'm interested, Natalie heard herself say. But this is complicated. You're my boss, I know. We'll need to be careful, discreet. He reached up, gently tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. The simple gesture sent shivers down her spine. But I have to tell you, I haven't felt this connected to someone in years. I don't want to let this go without exploring what it could be. When he kissed her, it was gentle and questioning, giving her every opportunity to pull away. But Natalie didn't pull away. She leaned in, her hands finding their way to his chest, feeling his heart beating as rapidly as her own. The kiss deepened, both of them pouring weeks of unspoken attraction into that single moment. When they finally pulled apart, both slightly breathless, Natalie felt like something fundamental had shifted in her world. "Good night." "Natalie," Sebastian whispered, his forehead resting gently against hers. "Night." "Sebastian." She closed her door and leaned against it. Natalie couldn't stop smiling. Her phone buzzed with a text from Jessica demanding details, but Natalie just stared at the ceiling, replaying every moment of the evening. Maybe that accidental message had been the universe's way of pushing her toward something extraordinary. Maybe sometimes the biggest mistakes led to the most beautiful beginnings. Her phone buzzed again, this time from Sebastian. "Thank you for tonight. Sweet dreams." Natalie fell asleep with her phone clutched in her hand, dreaming of dark eyes and gentle smiles, feeling hopeful for the first time in weeks. Monday morning arrived with the weight of reality. Natalie stood in front of her bathroom mirror, applying makeup with shaking hands. The magical weekend with Sebastian felt like a beautiful dream. But now she had to face the harsh fluorescent lights of Hunt Enterprises and pretend nothing had changed. She and Sebastian had texted constantly over Sunday, their conversations flowing from deep discussions about life and dreams to silly observations that made her laugh out loud. But today, walking into that office building, he would be her CEO again, and she would be just another employee. At least that was what everyone else needed to believe. Natalie arrived at her desk 15 minutes early, hoping to settle in before the office filled up. She greeted the security guard with her usual smile, grabbed coffee from the break room, and made her way to her cubicle in the marketing department. Everything seemed normal until she noticed Patricia from Human Resources glancing at her, then quickly whispering something to Michael from accounting. Then she caught David, her own team leader, staring at her with an odd expression before abruptly looking away. When their eyes met, her phone buzzed with a text from Sebastian. "Good morning. You look lovely today. Coffee after your 10 o'clock meeting?" Natalie smiled despite the growing unease in her stomach and typed back, "Good morning. Yes to coffee." But as the morning wore on, the feeling that people were watching her, talking about her, intensified. Conversations seemed to halt when she entered rooms. Colleagues who normally chatted with her at the coffee machine suddenly remembered urgent tasks elsewhere. By 11 o'clock, her anxiety had reached unbearable levels. Jessica appeared at her cubicle during lunch, her expression grave. "Nat, we need to talk. Conference room 3 is empty." Once they were alone behind closed doors, Jessica grabbed both of Natalie's hands. "Have you heard what people are saying? I know people are acting weird, but I don't know why." Natalie's stomach twisted into knots. "Someone saw you and Sebastian leaving Marcello's together Saturday night. You know how Sarah from reception is dating that waiter there?" Jessica took a deep breath. By Sunday afternoon, half the company knew. By this morning, everyone's talking about it. The words hit Natalie like a physical blow. What are they saying? That you're sleeping with the boss to advance your career? That the Riverside campaign success wasn't really yours? That Sebastian only promoted you to senior consultant last month because you're involved with him? Jessica squeezed her hands. "I know none of that's true. I know you earned every bit of your success. But you know how vicious office gossip can be." Natalie felt tears burning behind her eyes. "We only had one dinner. One. And it was after I'd already been promoted. I've worked 60-hour weeks for 3 years to get where I am. Anyone who actually knows you knows that. But gossip doesn't care about truth." The afternoon was torture. Natalie could feel eyes following her everywhere. She caught fragments of whispered conversations that made her cheeks burn with humiliation and anger. Someone had even created a cruel nickname that was making the rounds. When she passed the break room, she heard Mark from sales say, "There goes Hunt's latest acquisition," and the resulting laughter made her want to disappear. At 3:30, her desk phone rang. Patricia's crisp voice came through the line. "Miss Foster, Mr. Hunt would like to see you in his office immediately." The elevator ride to the executive floor felt endless. Natalie's hands trembled as she approached Sebastian's corner office. Through the glass walls, she could see him standing by the windows, hands in his pockets, looking out at the city's skyline. She knocked softly. He turned, and the moment he saw her face, his expression shifted from professional to concerned. "Close the door, please." Natalie did, then stood awkwardly near it, unsure of how to act in this space that blurred personal and professional so completely. "Heard the rumors? Day wasn't a question, yes." Her voice came out smaller than she intended. Sebastian crossed the room to her in 3 long strides. "I'm so sorry, Natalie. I should have anticipated this. I should have been more careful. Everyone thinks I'm using you to climb the corporate ladder." The words tumbled out, thick with emotion. "They think everything I've accomplished is because of you. I worked so hard, Sebastian. I earned my position. I earned that promotion. And now people think it's all a lie. I know you did. Everyone who matters knows you did." He reached for her hand, but Natalie pulled back. "We can't. Not here." "That's exactly what they're all saying is happening." Before Sebastian could respond, raised voices erupted outside the office. Patricia's professional tone, trying to stop someone. Heavy footsteps approaching. The door burst open violently, and Ryan stormed in, his face flushed with anger and something that looked like jealousy. His eyes swept from Natalie to Sebastian and back again. "So it's true," he spat, his voice dripping with venom. "You're actually sleeping with your boss. How long was this going on, Natalie? How long were you cheating on me?" Natalie felt her face go hot with rage. "Cheating on you? You were sleeping with Caroline for 5 months while living in my apartment. This is different. You moved on pretty fast. Makes me wonder if something was going on before we broke up." Ryan took a step toward her, aggressive and confrontational. Sebastian moved instantly, positioning himself between Ryan and Natalie. His voice was cold, controlled, and absolutely lethal. "You need to leave now. Or what? You'll fire me? Oh wait, I don't even work here. You can't control everything, Hunt." Ryan's laugh was bitter. "Did she tell you she was going to marry me? Did she mention the ring I was planning to buy before she threw our entire relationship away over one mistake? One mistake?" Natalie's voice rose. 5 months, Ryan. You lied to my face every single day for 5 months. Security appeared in the doorway, summoned by Patricia. Sebastian gestured to them. "Escort this man from the building. If he returns, call the police." As security grabbed Ryan's arms, he shouted back at Natalie. "You'll regret this. Both of you. Everyone already knows what you really are." The moment Ryan was gone, the executive floor erupted in whispers. Through the glass walls, Natalie could see dozens of employees pretending to work while obviously watching the drama unfold. Her humiliation was complete. "I need to resign," she whispered. "This is too much. I can't work here anymore. Absolutely not." Sebastian's voice was firm. "You're not running away from this. Everyone thinks I'm sleeping my way to the top. Then we'll show them the truth." Sebastian walked to his desk and picked up his phone, pressing a button. "Patricia, I need you to call an emergency all-staff meeting in the main conference room. 15 minutes. Everyone who's currently in the building needs to be there." "Sebastian, what are you doing?" Natalie felt panic rising in her chest. "Something I should have done the moment I realized I had feelings for you." He turned to face her fully. "I'm not going to let you be destroyed by gossip and lies. I'm not going to hide what I feel anymore." 15 minutes later, Natalie stood at the back of the packed conference room, her heart hammering so hard she thought everyone could hear it. Sebastian stood at the front, commanding attention the way he always did. "Thank you all for gathering on short notice," he began, his voice carrying easily through the space. "I've become aware that there are rumors circulating about Ms. Foster and myself. Rather than allow speculation to continue, I'm going to address this directly." The room fell absolutely silent. Natalie wanted to disappear into the floor. Natalie Foster is one of the most talented marketing professionals this company has ever employed. Her work on the Riverside campaign was exceptional and entirely her own achievement. Her promotion to senior consultant last month was based solely on merit, a decision made by the promotions committee before I ever spoke to her outside of professional contexts. Sebastian paused, his eyes finding Natalie's across the room. However, it's true that Natalie and I have recently begun a personal relationship. This relationship started after her promotion. It's after her professional achievements, and has absolutely nothing to do with her career trajectory at this company. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Natalie felt every eye in the room turn to look at her. I'm disclosing this relationship now to be completely transparent, Sebastian continued. Effective immediately, Natalie will be transferred to report directly to our chief marketing officer, rather than through the traditional chain of command. This removes any conflict of interest. Additionally, I'm offering her a partnership position in a new subsidiary we're launching focused on boutique marketing campaigns. Natalie's jaw dropped. A partnership. He was offering her a partnership?